Today is Chinese Valentine's Day, and about a year ago, I met my ex, and we became like boyfriend and girlfriend. And this morning, we totally broke up. There was police officer involved, there was pushing, there was harsh words, there was so much hatred, and a lot of bad feelings. I cannot help but wonder, how did we get here? Especially on a day like this, I had to spend this day alone. I asked two friends, but they all had plans. And the last thing I want to do on this day is just sitting at home and watching all the videos or photos and pitying myself. So I found out those cards. These are the treasure hunting cards my ex created for me about a year ago. It was right 2 months after our dating, and he created all these treasure hunts, these clues, and all these treasure cards, which I can find treasures in every spot that we dated in the city. At that time, I thought it was so romantic, so thoughtful. And today, I found them out, and I want to see if I could find myself again. So the first one is spring. He divided all those cards in 4 themes, 4 seasons. When I went through those cards, I think one thing he didn't lie about, that we are going to go through all the seasons. But he didn't mention just for 1 year of all the seasons. Anyway, the first ones are the spring, which is the color green, which stands for hope. I'm gonna read what he wrote on those cards. So one card is the clue card, so I can guess where to find all those treasures. And the second card is the treasure card. It would explain why this treasure was there, what it had to do with us back then. Okay, so first it's a clue card. I'm going to, he wrote in Chinese because he's Chinese, and I'm going to read and translate, so it's gonna be maybe a little bit slow, okay? So spring is the beginning of a year, and everything is waking up at the season. Everything is full of hope, so please go to the place where you think can represent our spring. Okay, and then he wrote, the treasure and the next clue card are hidden under the door chair. Okay, I should explain. So this spot is actually a Korean restaurant, and I guess that's the only place where I'm not going to go today. Because can you imagine anyone cook Korean food badly? Because that's almost impossible. But this place, it did. It was a horrible dinner. It was a pleasant night, but the dinner was so horrible. All the dishes we ordered, we didn't even finish one of them. I finished the alcohol, but not the food. So, and also today is Chinese Valentine's Day, and this place is so overrated, so I guess it's going to be crowded and not many good food. So I'm going to skip spring. And let's read what he wrote on this, treasure card. Suppose I'm at this restaurant, and I found those treasure, which is this one. So he wrote, treasure card 1, congratulations, you found the first treasure of this treasure hunting trip. It's the 3rd time we came here, but the first time was still so fresh and clear. You were wearing a stunning red dress, which I always do, and you were talking about finding this gone friend, who was still gone. I hope I find him one day. And he wrote, knowing you were the first time I knew a girl who can be so full of life and so passionate. Okay, so all of this that is good about me, later, after a year, he thought that's a bad thing about me, which is very ironic. Okay, so he wrote, you're so passionate that as if I didn't ask, but you still forced it to me. Well, that's a red flag, because we were making a joke that he was so introvert. It's he never asked for a relationship or anything. But I feel I felt the passion, I felt the love, and I felt so happy with him, and I'm very extrovert, and I'm very straightforward. I'm not enjoying a chasing game or something, but I guess a girl should do this, which we were joking he didn't even want it, but I forced it to him. So the first treasure was kind of this bad joke. It was 2 t-shirts. His wrote didn't want it, and mine wrote forced it. So yeah, that was the spring cards, the clue card and the treasure card. And let's say the second one. The second one is summer, which is almost the most season of the city we live in. Okay, so he wrote, summer's hotness and the coldness of dessert can make relationship get hot. Which doesn't make sense, not even in Chinese. Okay, so when it was so hot, I would find myself so lucky that I was surrounded by the goddess of luck, which he didn't think so, which I'm sure he thought so back then. But he surely thought himself being surrounded by the goddess of revenge now. Okay, so he wrote, he continued. He said, so please, according to summer and lucky as 2 keywords, to guess where should you go next. Where you should go next. Okay, so the next station's clue, the next clue and the next treasure are under the plant at the door. Okay, let's go find this place. Okay, I think I found the wrong branch of the second place. Yeah, but it's still the same name. Let's check it out. Actually, there was a story. Well, it's almost a little bit funny that I confirmed that this is the place where him and I had been to. But still, I found the wrong place, but the same branch. So I have my summer clue card and summer treasure card. And since it's the same brand, so let's check out if it tastes the same. I guess it's like God sending me a clue, telling me that, don't try to find the same old thing again. There is a new surprise along the way. Let's see how it works. So this coconut thing is their specialty. Let's order this. Okay, well, I'm waiting for my coconut. I'm going to explain what's written on this treasure card. What I found the treasure on the summer station. Okay, so it wrote, treasure card 2. You are so smart that you found it. With the one you love, we always felt that we owe them a lot, but I always also felt very lucky. Not only that we found this, this best dessert place, also that we ran into each other in the same cabin in the metro. Or that it was your first time that you caught something from a claw machine. And this lucky moment needs to be memorized, which I'm using now. So the second gift he gave me was this DG Pocket Free. And I think this one is really nice. So this was a summer card, and actually there is a funny story on how we found this place. We were on our way to find an old school karaoke, which is not very old school, I guess, in Europe and in the US, because it's like an open mic thingy. But in China, it already developed into something like separate rooms that only for you and your friends or somebody you know. So we don't really have like very popular open mic thing. But there is this one place, it's so old school with this nostalgic vibe that I liked really much. We were trying to find this place, but we were told it was closed. And last weekend we found more of this kind of places, but it never felt the same. I remember the first time we were at this karaoke, he was singing all the songs, and he was using all the songs to speak out his heart to me. But last time he didn't sing. Well, because there was a technical problem that it wasn't his turn, and also it was crowded. And also he chose this song. It's called the Love of My Life. And he then explained that it was just play with the vibe. It's nothing to do with you, which is me. So everything changed after a year. 谢谢. So I even got a souvenir, which is a mandatory tissue from this place. I'm gonna keep it as a souvenir of this treasure hunting trip. Already something. Okay, let's try this coconut thing. It's ice with coconut. It smells very nice. Let's taste it to see if it's still the same. It's very fragrant, at the same time very tasty. So yeah, I guess it's like relationship. Something went bad, but still, it left me so many good souvenirs, such as all this good restaurants and good food that I discovered, or I discovered with him, that I could take my friends, or the next one too. Well, when I'm eating this coconut thing, I'm going to show you the next treasure hunt cards, which is first the clue card, autumn, and then the treasure card, which is full of words. Let's see. Okay, so this clue card wrote, after the hotness, autumn came, and our problems fall out as well. So it seems that those quarrels had put our relationship to a cold point. Yeah, very hard to understand. Please go to the place where, besides your home, we had the most serious fight. Okay, I remember this place. And the story is a little bit private, but since we are, reviewing what was wrong with this relationship, so I'm gonna review it. Okay, and he wrote, the clue is on the left bushes, which is this. Actually, he was so sweet. He wrote everything twice, just in case that if I didn't find the first card, if it got lost during the way, and he would casually pull out the second card to show me. Yeah, so I guess he was nice. I'm gonna give him some dignity, not reviewing. What was this fight about? Okay, it was something like health regarded. Okay, so this is my treasure card, my third treasure card. Let's see what it was. He said, this is the bad memory I mentioned at the beginning, but every bad memory has made us more honest and more confirmed about our relationship, which turned into the power that made us moving on. So I guess there were not two people who were born to match with each other, which I still believe so, but he didn't anymore. But what I'm thankful for was that we all had the attitude and the power to solve the problem. The worst about all the problems were the ones that affect our health. So even if you had, which I have, a strong immune system, you have to work out and keep it healthy. So his next treasure was a card. It says A, because that was the initial of this gym. And he wrote, okay, I'm going to give you a 1-year gym membership, which he didn't, and or any membership of any gym that you like, because they don't have an actual card. So you just go ahead, tell me which one you want to go. Haha. Okay, so the third place is the right place. I almost got it wrong again, but then based on my memory, I found this place. It changed the the decoration a little bit, but it's in this back alley, so I still managed to find it. Okay, let's check. Inside it actually looks so authentic. I still remember where we sat, and he hid the thing right here in the bushes. And that's the second time when we were here. The first time when we were here, we ended like standing in front of this convenience shop. I'm going to tell you the whole thing. The first time he mentioned that they had the best Hunan cuisine, which I really loved because I like spicy food. But he dropped a bomb like right before they served the food. He said that, well, which I said I wasn't going to mention. I'm not going to mention like what it was, okay? So he mentioned that he had this kind of contagious STD, which was passed on to him from his ex. So I should mention that he had broken up with his ex not for long before he met me and started something with me, which I didn't know. Well, which bothered me a lot because I don't want to be the one who I don't want to be the plate cleanser. Yeah. So he mentioned about the STD and mentioned that I probably have the chance to catch it. And the reason why he found out about this is because I asked him to do a test before we move forward in our relationship. And he hated me for that. But the result turned out that I was right. He had it. But as he mentioned on the treasure card, thanks to my strong immune system, I went to have a test. I had nothing. And I was so happy. But still, he put me at risk of getting it. So that day I remember I was super angry. And I couldn't just sit there pretending like nothing was happening, because he even blamed me a lot for have him going through the test. So I rushed out of the restaurant. He also didn't eat. He came out with me, and he was like a little puppy following me around and begging me, to not break up with him. And I made up my mind to break up with him, and he just followed. And at that day, I had something to do in a bar. So he followed me to a coffee shop, then to this bar. Then like after a few hours, finally we were back together again. That was like the short version of our story. Like all this breakup and then makeup and then over again, like a circle. Because every time I want to solve a problem, he didn't even want to solve the problem. He just wanted to, every time when there's a problem, my personality was to solve it. And but you never know how. And I'm sure he didn't know how as well. But at the beginning, he would at least play along. He would at least try. But at the end, he was just, you know what? If you have a problem with this, it's your own problem. You should deal with it yourself. Which is partially right. But then, why do I bother to stay in a relationship if the mutual problem I could solve myself? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even have this problem to begin with. Yeah, that was the first time when we were here. And the second time, when he had this treasure and clue card in the bushes, I found it. And I admired his courage of bringing this up, even though it hurt both of us a lot in the past, all the fights and everything. But when he put this as part of the treasure hunt, it was still very touching. Because for me, it shows his ability, or at least a willingness, to solve problems with me, to accept that there will be ups and downs, that because we are who we chose to go on this road with, so we will stick together. So I never told him this, but the autumn part was actually, I guess, was my top 2. Yeah, so it was the story of this Hunan cuisine restaurant, and I will, pay Egan. Anyway, I don't think I'm a masochist. I don't think I love pain. But we have a totally different perspective on the pain or the downs we had. Because like every time we had a quarrel or we were breaking up, he would mention that, he was like, how did you hurt me? This hurt me, that hurt me, something like this. But my perspective was more like, after this, we were closer. I guess like my brain has a protecting system that protect me from thinking all the, painful memories I had, but instead beautified them. So I guess all the bad things that happened, I actually only remembers like very vividly the hug we had after, or the makeup we had after. So I guess that's part of our differences. He forbid me from mentioning all the troubles he had caused me, Instead, he kept mentioning all the hurt, all the painful feelings he had got. Yeah, so I guess my protection system wasn't so strong after all. Anyway, not a masochist. I just felt like the painful memories or the obstacles we had gone through together actually put us more closer. That's my understanding. So the last station, I sat right there waiting for him. He was upstairs decorating the room. I'm actually sitting near at the last station of this treasure hunt because there were so many people there. So I just found one quiet spot, which happens to be a place where we had also one of our fights. Anyway, so last clue card, winter, and it's white. He wrote, with you, winter is not a cold season. It's two people together and create some warmth. Although there is hardly winter in Shenzhen, but please cooperate. Go to one of the places where there are your favorite winter food, which is like a Beijing hot pot place. And I guess there are very crowded there today, especially today. So I guess I'm not going there. And so he had put the last treasure at a counter, and I had to ask for it, which is very creative. I had to give it to him. And this was the treasure card. He said, after being with you, I can visualize many happiness, even those which didn't happen to me, because I could have imagined happily, for example, the warmth of a winter bed, the fireplace, glühwein, cinnamon, pumpkin, and this is a clue, pumpkin. But it seems like we don't have the fireplace yet. Then I guess we will use the candles instead. So last treasure he gave me was a pumpkin scented candle, which was one of my favorites as well. Because it summarized how he made me feel at the beginning of this relationship. Because I remember once we were in IKEA and I mentioned that there was one candle that smells like Halloween, which was like pumpkin, but they didn't have it in IKEA Shenzhen. So later I just mentioned it like casually for once. He remembered and he found this very, very similar candle, and that was the last treasure. So it summarized all who he was at the beginning, because at the beginning I felt so safe, I felt so loved, because I don't have to say anything twice. Anything, I just have to mention it once, or even like without intention. He'd remember it and he'd like do something about it. So yeah, I'm really thankful for that. But which creates a very big gap between who he was and who he later was with me. Because later he was just like, I feel like everything I have to say many times, and then we would fight, and yeah, then it would become a problem. But at the beginning, it was still as beautiful as a pumpkin candle. So that was the last one. And oh, I dropped something. Okay, that's the last card before I went upstairs to his apartment. He said, you are so awesome. You found all the treasures. And spring, summer, autumn, winter, after 4 seasons, it was time to go home to celebrate New Year, to find the ultimate treasure. Please go to that place that made you cry so many times, made you sneeze, and made you cough so many times. Actually, he had a cat, and I have serious asthma. So later he gave away the cat. He also had asthma. Yeah, so that was the reason why I was sneezing and coughing. He said, oh, also wait downstairs at the staircase, and I will let you know when to come up. And that was all the end of the treasure hunting. And at that time, there was the ultimate treasure waiting for me at 17th floor at his apartment at that time. And when I finally went up, he put all these balloons, and he had a bouquet of colorful flowers of so many colors. It was the most colorful bouquet I'd ever seen. And he said it represented me because I was full of colors. And he gave me that very touching speech for as long as 30 minutes. And he deposited some balance into a joint account. And also he prepared a piece of gold for like 50 gram. He said you could make this a jewelry how you want, or it represents like the romance of a Chinese guy. He says that I love gold, and he didn't know like what kind of things I wanted, so he wanted to give me something. So he wanted to give me something, and at the end, He stood on his knees and asked me, while the background music playing, for a season. He said, well, I'm trying to find the card he prepared. Well, it's here. It's a song from Leslie Chan, still is my favorite singer, and he chose this one song that I've never heard before. It goes like this. 常常望，愿你决定，共我相伴，活出生命。祈求望命里注定，就算幾多風雨勁，轉去這個我。It goes like this. I always wish you could make the decision to live a very beautiful life with me. I pray that we are meant to be, even if there are so many obstacles. So please allow me to hold your hand and to have a happy relationship with you. I'm not going to sing because I think I'm about to cry. Singing wouldn't make it sound better. And then he wrote, "Be my girlfriend, Yuan." When I'm standing here, because it was a long time since I came here, and when I'm here, it's hard to remember the fact that it's Chinese Valentine's Day today, and he's somewhere in the city, maybe having dinner with some other people, or just simply staying away from me. Well, meanwhile, like a year ago, there's nothing more he wanted than to be with me. It has been so I decided to go on this trip of treasure hunting that he had prepared to ask me to be his girlfriend on the day that we finally broke up. It's like talking to him and me from a year ago. It's just so vivid how the happiness was. And well, I know all of this didn't happen in vain. I had this deep connection with him, and for this 1 year, maybe I had cried 11 months during the whole time. It was painful for sure, but it was also happy. Actually, I'm very happy that this happened, because you know, I've been with many people. I've dated a lot, and at my age, I thought I could never felt this deep, had any connection this deep with anybody. So I'm happy not because this relationship. I'm happy because I know there is a possibility that I could feel, I could cry, I could, get angry so intensely, no matter how old I am. So I would call it a perfect date with myself, or with a ghost of myself and my dead relationship from a year ago. So this is how I spent my Chinese Valentine's Day 2025. I took all the treasure hunting cards from my ex, who made me all of those a year ago to go on a treasure hunting trip. And at the end, he asked me to be his girlfriend. A year later, on this very day, we broke up. And it was ugly. It was ugly. But by remembering how beautiful this day was, I feel loved. I guess we were happy then, and I guess I am happy now, and he is happy. He's probably happy somewhere else now, and that's enough.